Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay with some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and Aaron. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Postpodiumpodcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host Aramis,
and I'll be still standing. What's up, y'all? 40 keys in the building.
You guys are in for a treat today. Hay fever, the season's changing, all that kind of stuff. So, Nate, if you're watching, I'm not blowing my nose. I'm simply wiping all episode long.
I told him just to hold his nostril open the whole time to see what happens, but we'll see.
Who knows what'll fall out if I do that?
Oh boy.
We'll make it through, and we'll see where it goes. I think it'll be an interesting conversation today.
Yeah, Weston, you right. The Tiki Bar on Beane Island is wide open because everybody swam the hell off of your island.
Yeah. So let's do this. You and I didn't do any day 3 coverage at all.
Right.
What were your thoughts? And J-Ham, this is specifically for you, bro. What were your thoughts on day 3's picks?
Okay, so we're starting off day 3 with what? With day 2 was TJ Parker and Igmanism. Day 3 was Bowdry, which I have no thoughts on. Skylar Bell, absolutely. Even though I still hate his guts. I hope he hears this. I hate your guts, Skylar Bell. Because I'm a UB fan, and having to watch what he did at UB was unmerciful. I mean, it was like toying with little kids. Every time the ball goes up on third down, on whatever down, Skylar Bell somewhere down there catching the ball, making us looking stupid. Obviously, Elarm's Orr, I had him on every one of my draft picks. You know that. To the point where I had to get him off of my draft picks on purpose.
Yep.
And Jalen Kilgore, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Somebody asked about Jalen Kilgore on Friday's show. I don't remember who it was, but they said, "What do you think about him?" I said, "I would take him in a heartbeat." And sure as hell, look what we got. And then that's when I kind of turned the draft off because you talking about Zane Durant. Okay, that's Ed Oliver's backup. That's it. He's Ed Oliver. I mean, the same stature, same play style. If you're looking for a rush 3 tech, absolutely. Toriano Pride, I noticed him at the combine. When I watched Mizzou, I didn't really notice him. I think he's a slot guy. They say he can play outside, but I don't think so.
Too small.
Well, it's not even that. I don't think he has a skill set for or the temperament for it, we'll say. Tommy Doman, punter, cool. Armaz Reed Adams, whatever. It was okay. I'm gonna let you say because I have a thought on this. I'm gonna let you say what you got.
I mean, my reaction after day 2 was the same as day 3, and I think what it really comes down to for me is the very end of the press conference with Joe Brady and Brandon Beane. Mookie Hawkins was able to get this last question in, basically asking how would they frame, how would they categorize this draft that they just had.
Right.
And Beane cited depth and competition.
Mm-hmm.
And from that respect, the draft fits exactly what he said. And I don't think I'd be mad at that if the mindset wasn't, we have to win right now. If we were the Raiders, this is a great draft for the Raiders because you got a nucleus of 10 players to come in and serve as the foundation for your team. They're all kind of, high floor, low ceiling guys. Nobody is too volatile as a prospect. You know what I'm saying? They're all gonna, just kind of be, on a similar curve in a sense. But when you combine that with the prospects' ability to get playing time and get opportunities and all that kind of stuff, I don't see where it's going to come from. And I think that's still the thing that's going to be bothering me the most about this draft class is you drafted a bunch of guys with the mindset that they're not actually going to play unless you have a lot of injuries. And if your goal is to not have a lot of injuries, then they are not going to be playing this season.
Yeah. Now, see, this was what thought I had. Playing off of your original line of questioning was, we got our resident hater in the Discord talking about why won't you guys just conform? Everybody else has. This is my thought. I don't think people are as bipolar as you say. Not you, but as people say, widespread. The Bills hated the draft in the first 2 days, and the third day they loved it. It's great now. But this is why. I know why. When you go into a draft, you want something, right? You want something. What did everybody want? A wide receiver. And I know I'm blurry because I'm not actually here, but they want a wide receiver.
The camera does what it wants.
Day one, people hated the draft. Well, they liked it because he traded back. But they were like, we didn't get a wide receiver. Day two, people were like, ugh, it wasn't that good. Day three, absolutely. Who was happy after Jay Bowery got drafted? Raise your hand. I'll wait. When Jay Bowery got drafted, who was like, yes, hell yeah, this is the draft.
You mean Jude Bowery.
Jude, yeah. So after that, they drafted Skylar Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wanted a wide receiver. We got a wide receiver, a good one.
That's when everybody flipped around.
When they flipped around.
Okay, now the draft is fine.
But that's my point. See, when people grade drafts, they graded emotionally based on what they wanted before they went into the draft.
Mm-hmm.
For me, had they got, a bendy edge rusher, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, this is a great draft. And we got a wide receiver. Book it. Good.
Okay.
But what do we do again? I asked you a question before the draft. I said, what is the elite trait? What is anybody's elite trait? The trait, not the trait that makes them better than some. What makes them stand out in draft class? I know you're not going to get a complete player, but what makes them stand out? Is it elite bend? Is it burst? Is it short speed? Is it agility? Is it, whatever? But when you're talking about TJ Parker, his 2026 perspectives as being a rotational player, you failed. Igbenison, what is he? He's a project. Why? Have you watched him play? I can tell you. I was talking to my man, so I can fact check this. I watched on Saturday night the complete Penn State versus Ohio State game. Yesterday, I watched the complete TJ Parker versus LSU game. I watched the complete Caleb Elam's Orr game versus North Carolina. I didn't watch highlights. I watched the game, and I just watched them. Now, I can tell you, with Benison, IGB, whatever you guys want to call him, his eyes are always in the backfield. He's always trying to dissect what the play is. He's trying to figure it out. Where he falls apart is his system rigidity. He's not flexible. You can't put. So when I said in Discord, I don't know if you saw it on Saturday, I said this guy is competing with Christian Benford.
Yeah,
which is dumb.
He's a boundary corner. Yeah.
He can't play slot. He can't play field. He really doesn't play zone either. But guess what? Max Harrison is a guy he's the unproven one. Whether you like Benford or not, we just re-signed him to an extension. Mm-hmm. They believe in him. That's entrenched. So you didn't go ahead and get a project field. You didn't get go get a slot. You went and got somebody behind the guy was playing unless he gets hurt. Right. Now, are you planning on him getting hurt? Yeah. Okay, sure. Then that's your guy. But how good is he? He's not even the best boundary corner out there.
Right.
Then when you go to Elam's Orr, okay, you know what he compares to?
Dorian Williams.
Terrell Bernard.
Really?
Terrell Bernard. That's him.
Brandon Beane said he's a Dorian Williams-esque type of player.
Terrell Bernard. That's where I see him. Wow. Terrel Bernard. Another guy that you just extended. Mm-hmm. Let's go to Elam's. Go to TJ Parker. You just signed Bradley Chubb. And you just signed Greg Rousseau. How do you compliment Greg Rousseau? How do you make Greg Rousseau's job easier? Then we go, like I said earlier in the show, you got Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver and Zane Durant, same dude. So they're a rotation. Fine. But who's playing next to them in the middle? What did Beane say? Did you hear it?
Which part?
What do you say about who's playing next to Ed Oliver?
Yeah, he said Deion Walker is going to be playing the nose.
I heard somewhere he said that Dwayne Carter was starting.
No, so the reference to Dwayne Carter was so people were clamoring for a run stuffing defensive tackle. And that's when he came in with, well, a lot of people are forgetting about Dwayne Carter, and he's even beefed up a little bit this season. And then he qualified that with, up top. Okay, well, he beefed up a little bit up top. His injury was down low. What's that really going to matter to his ability to be able to stop the run at 6'1", 300 pounds?
This is my kick. Dwayne Carter even said he plays his best between 295 and 305.
Right.
He's not a nose. That's not what he's going to do. Run stopper, yeah, that's all he can offer you. And if you want to masquerade him as a nose or as a one tech, enjoy yourself. It's not going to work well. You be better out putting Fedarian Mathis in there.
Yeah.
You better out putting Zion Logan there, which is probably what's going to happen anyway.
I think Logan will win that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Logan's going to win it too. But the thing is, when you go with TJ Parker, who goes next? I didn't even want Caden. I didn't want Caden McDonald like that, but I would have taken him over TJ Parker because guess what? Later on, I probably could have got a twitchy project. I didn't need another Bradley Chubb. I didn't need another Greg Rousseau. Right. I needed somebody to make them better. I needed somebody to take some of the pressure off of them. I didn't want another one of them. I mean, if you watch TJ Parker, I'm watching him like he's not really strong against the run, and he doesn't come out too low against the left tackle, right tackle, whatever side he's playing. Now he does play 2-point stance, 3-point stance, but when I watched this draft and I'm like, okay, people like this draft, and what did they push back when we talked about we didn't have as many holes as people say? People said, what about the depth? Most of the players on this team that start in 2025 are depth.
Yeah, exactly.
And that we're not hating on them. We're not condemning them. But what we're saying is when you're looking at a draft and everybody says, well, what did you expect in 20? We have everything. Well, how many of those 10 players are going to make the team? So when you talk about we drafted 26, how can you get a star player when you package some of those 4s? You had 2 5s before the draft even started, packaged them up with 26, move up to 19, move up to 18. Hell, throw a 6 in there. We only need 3-4 players anyway.
What was I think the Eagles traded for Kayvon Thibodeau or something like that? Like somebody, who's the team that traded during the draft?
I don't even know.
They gave up like a 3rd or a 5th or something like that for a pass rusher. Forgot who that was. But yeah, I agree with you, bro. I think what gets lost in all this from those fans that are saying, oh, we love this, is the name of the game. And I think what I'm about to say right now is exactly why nobody in our industry really wants to debate with you or I about anything Bills related, right? Because
Jonathan Greenard, the first night.
Jonathan Greenard, right? Yep. So the Eagles got yet another pass rusher for what was it? I think it was like a 3rd round pick or something like that they gave up for him.
Yep.
Like the Bills could have done that
easily
if they had the cap space to handle it, right? Mm-hmm. As your camera continues to malfunction.
Yeah, don't worry about me. I'm here. I'm still here. Don't worry.
But here's what I think makes it difficult for people to debate and argue with us. The name of the game is championships, right? The reason that we lace up the cleats, the reason that we put on the pads, the reason that we do anything that we do in the red, white, and blue is for championships. And if you're telling me that you went into the draft thinking that your plane of existence with all the players that you've assembled in free agency and from last year are all just fine, and you didn't really need to add starters through the draft, well, then what you're essentially saying is you believe that if for some reason the draft had never happened, you can go and win a championship with the guys that you have as starters currently on the roster right now. That's basically what you're saying. And if that's the case, then why even have any kind of excitement at all about these guys that just got drafted? Because at the end of the day, how do any of these 10 moves equal winning right now. We've gone 9 years talking about Super Bowls. We've gone 17 years before that just saying, God, can I just have one Super Bowl before I die? How much longer do we need to continue to beg and plead for a championship, but then stand here and watch these guys propagate to us that this is this is depth and competition, and that's what makes the team better? No, it's not about what makes the team better. It's about what equals championships.
I heard earlier Tim Graham
fix
and
your camera.
Okay, sweet, my turn to talk. Ha ha! No, I heard earlier that Tim Graham and Brad Ryder, which I love Brad Ryder on GR. I don't know about you guys, but I love it. Did you hear where somebody called and their name was JAS? He was like, Jazz? He's like, is this a joke? He said, is this huge ass? Hello? I was like, I mean, they just don't care. But earlier today, I think Tim Graham said, he said, this draft was cementing. And this is where I get so mad at I shouldn't even say mad. This is where I get frustrated with like the Tommies and people like that. They fight you tooth and nail about how much different the draft is going to be now that McDermott's gone. What was different?
None.
There was not. Let me explain this to you. Now, Tim Graham said this draft was solidification of Beane saying, we gave you a Super Bowl roster. You couldn't win with it.
For sure.
So let me if you just indulge me for a minute. I can't even hear you. Relax. Every year, heavy defensive investment early, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every year, well, most years, trading out of round one or trading up for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Targeting high experience, high snap players. You got captains, you got 5-year players, 6-year players. You got guys that played in 50 plus games up the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody that's like 19, 20 years old because they don't know anything.
Yep.
You got a day 3 focus on developmental offensive line, defensive backs, and specialists. What did we just see the last 3 days? Pissed me off because it's always traits over pure production. See, when I said, what is that elite trait? I'm saying, how did that guy get 12 sacks? How did that guy get 5 interceptions? Red Murdoch, how did he force, a NCAA record amount of fumbles in his career? How? Those are the traits I'm talking about. We're getting guys that are just, they bend but don't break. We're safe. We're good. We're this. Now, I don't understand how this defense equates to a Jim Leonhard defense. That's where I have to settle down, me personally. I'm going to have to settle down because I don't even know what a Jim Leonhard defense looks like, because everything that we hear is what Beane says. Beane has told us already that TJ that they're going to be rotating side with TJ and Bradley Chubb. He's told us who the nose tackle is. He's told us who he thinks the slot is. He's told us who the safety is. What the hell did Jim Leonhard tell us?
Right.
Why is Beane telling us everything? Because this is his roster.
Yep.
Anybody that wants to refute me, I don't know what to tell you. Yep. Now, see, like I said earlier, I am not going to blame him because this is what they think wins. The same I said with McDermott when he was scared. This is what he thought was going to win. But this is what Beane thinks is going to win. So when do we tell ourselves, you know what? This ain't it. This ain't it. It ain't going to work. Because you don't have to have Cassius Howell. You didn't have to have our Mason Thomas. You could have got somebody else, but you're giving me old guys that cost money, and you're giving me guys that fit the same trait structure as the guys you just signed. It's driving me nuts because I'm like, yo, I thought we wanted to be different. I thought we wanted to look different, be more aggressive, be this, be that. Thought we wanted to get the quarterback. So what did Beane say? Beane said, and I'm not going to rant. Beane said, you look at what lost you the last game, and so to him, I guess another speed to power rusher was what lost us the last game. I guess Joey Bosa lost us the last game. I guess Greg Rousseau lost the last game. Come on. James Cook fumbled. Josh Allen fumbled. We had a head coach you guys thought wasn't good enough. What are we doing here? Screw the last game. And I'm telling you right now, all that Joe Brady talk about how all the pass, we recognize the passes, but this is year one. Is it? Because you guys sure as hell referenced before a lot. Everybody's mouth. What we did. No, you didn't do anything if this is year one. So I don't want to hear it. It's double talk. And when people don't understand that, people don't really listen to what they're telling you. They're putting it in your face.
Yep.
Brandon Beane got somebody that he knew was going to run his roster with his philosophy the way he wanted it to be. Sean McDermott maybe taught Brandon Beane a thing or two about roster construction in his eyes. But Beane said, you know what? He was right. But he coached that game scared. That 13 seconds, he was scared. It'll work. Trust me. We just gotta get somebody else. And that's why we have what we have now, because and we got the super chat. I know. I got you, J-Ham. My cousin Ham. Anyway, he saw what he thought was a mountaintop. And he said, I got to get back there. I got to get back there. And I don't have McDermott anymore to get my way. I'm going to build this team in my vision.
Yep. Let's get the super chat in real quick. J Ham with the super chat. Says, my thoughts are Beane is drafted based in fear. Looking at the elements in which we've lost in the playoffs, it's repeated twice the past 2 years, which is really interesting when you take into consideration what Beane has said in terms of, the reasoning for this draft being, the reasoning for drafting Davison Igbinosun.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's not hard to say his name. Mm-hmm. And like calling him IGB, like that's just the first 3 letters of his last name.
That's what he goes by. I don't know why.
Right. He like, is it really what he goes by?
Yeah. He got his chain says IGB. That's what he goes by.
That's crazy.
But you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. We understand.
True.
My name is spelled exactly how it's said. I have an aunt at the big age of 42 still calling me Kashan. Who the hell is Kashan?
Did you not see the Y in my name?
I just call me K.
Right.
Because you're never gonna get it. So I get it.
But when you look at the reasoning behind the IGB move, it was, well, if you look at the reason that we lost in the playoffs, it was, guys
Savage
coming in
and Jackson. Yeah.
Right. My whole thing on that thought there by Brandon Beane is, who the hell drafted Dane Jackson in the first place? Who signed him back to the squad after he was already gone? He didn't cost you nothing. He was off the books. He went to Carolina. He was out. You were free and clear of that draft pick, and nobody was banging on you for it.
Yeah.
Nobody was hating on you. Nobody was calling you any kind of names for drafting Dane Jackson and that draft pick not working out. Why? Because I think it was a 6th or 7th round draft pick he spent on Dane Jackson to begin with.
Yep.
So nobody expected it to work in the first place, right? So Dane Jackson is the one that gets killed there. And then who was the safety that got burnt?
Savage.
Darnell Savage. Mm-hmm. Who brought in Darnell Savage? Oh, that was Brandon Beane. Did that have anything to do with the coaching? I mean, the play call was there. The coaches, to some degree, the coaches should have known, like, don't put these guys on an island. But here's the other part of that.
He put him on the Beane island.
Right. The other part of what Beane is saying is, those players shouldn't have been put in that position, but we should have also had better players in those positions, right? So he wants the guys behind the starters to be better than Dane Jackson and Darnell Savage is essentially what he's saying. Mm-hmm. And he believes that Davis Igbinosun is of that ilk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about his college career says that is the case?
Mm-hmm. And Tori said Beane haters are ridiculous, but where was I wrong? Tell me where the draft was different now that McDermott's gone. Tell me.
Tori, here's what it comes down to. You have to, before you make another comment on this show, you have to tell me how his moves equal championships. If you cannot do that, and you're more than welcome to call in, I will put the link in there if you need some time to formulate your opinion. But until anyone can tell me how this draft is going to equal championships, if you look at the depth chart right now, 4 guys, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys are second stringers, and 3 guys are third stringers. None of these guys have a shot to start. Why did you draft them? Why did you feel the need to trade back? Here's what it comes down to for me. This mindset around this genius job that Brandon Beane did of accumulating picks and getting us 10 players when we were only supposed to get 6, and all that kind of stuff. Like, it sounds great. Again, if your mindset is we have to win the draft. And it seems like every offseason, the Bills tend to get a lot of accolades. They do such a great job at winning the offseason. How many times have the Buffalo Bills won the regular season? Never. We've never won the regular season. Okay, well, fine. You know, the Chiefs have been in the way. All right, cool. How many times have the Bills won the postseason? Never. It's never happened in the history of postseasons. Ever. Right? So if we're bringing the entire conversation back to why do we play the games?
Right. He wrote another, but I mean,
what did he write?
No, it's right there. It's on the screen.
Oh, he's always
yeah. I know he is. So it's like he laughs. So I'm like, I didn't take it like that, but you know, like, no, but like, a lot of people will say that though. That's the thing. Well, Beane, like what is this? What has this dude done to these people to think that he's a great guy? I mean, he's not horrible, but we're still stuck in the mud to me.
Right.
We're still stuck in perpetual. Take Josh off this team and what happens?
Yep.
Take Cook off the team, what happens? Take Josh's now proven number one receiver, Shakir, off this team and tell me what happens. Because I remember, I watched, I was on X, because I got to do the free stuff now. I can't really log into anybody. It just shows whatever it shows me. This is great.
Just start another email.
No, you don't have to do that. You just go on X and not sign in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, easy.
And it did that.
Yeah.
But it was showing Josh Allen's pro day, throwing deep balls.
Yeah.
He missed a bunch of them.
Yep.
Because that's not his game.
Right.
You know, so it's like, okay, all right, we got Josh Allen. So what do we do with Josh Allen if you don't have Shakir? You keep getting these deep ball threats and do nothing else, not Skylar Bell. But I'm saying, you know, these guys, they bringing these Nicole Hartmans, these MVS, these fast dudes that don't do nothing else.
Yep.
What's the point?
Yep.
It's cute, but it serves no
what
purpose.
Which makes it even more hilarious that the guy, the last 3 seasons in the postseason, when it comes down to, you know, gotta have it moments in those games in the fourth quarter, they're all deep plays.
Yeah.
Every single time it came down to we gotta have it, we need a first down. He calls what? A deep pass.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we get lucky that Josh Allen gets it like to the guy, because again, as you stated, it's clear the deep ball is not Josh Allen's forte.
And that's fine.
But
before y'all come for me, that's fine.
Right.
They won't come for you on that. They'll come for me. They gonna get me.
But again, this is the guy that we hired as a head coach. This is the guy that's strategizing and gets to the end of a game and says, you know what's going to work? The thing that my quarterback does least well. Let's throw a deep pass, guys. Mm-hmm. We're going deep. Single coverage. We're going to put the ball in the referee's court. They're going to have – referees don't ever want that.
Right.
Listen, that mindset amongst referees is not just in the NFL. That's the same across basketball, across baseball, across – they don't want to be the reason a team wins or loses a game. And let's be real. That particular interception is not the reason they lost the game.
Mm-hmm.
They still got to go play defense after that. And they couldn't do it. Right? So being that situation the way it is, let me bring this back to the initial point, because I'm going to spend the whole show making sure that I make this point clear. If it's about winning championships, then you have to prove to me how TJ Sanders playing defensive end, how Terrell Bernard is not going to get gobbled up by whatever guard or center combination gets through to the second level because Deion Walker is trying to skirt around blocks. Like you're going to have a hard time proving to me how this defensive front is going to stop the offensive line from getting to its linebackers. That is going to be a major question that needs to be answered this offseason. And if you can't convince me of that right now, and you haven't done anything in the draft to kind of reinforce that gaping hole that you have right there on the roster, And then on top of that, you add on to that a GM that just wholeheartedly believes that Deion Walker is the nose tackle, even though his own agent says that he doesn't want to do it.
Right.
You are obviously putting these players. This was another thought that came to me. I want to see what you thought about this.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that this team still holds on to the cultural laurels that Sean McDermott put in place.
Mm-hmm.
Humble and hungry, guys got to come in and earn their spots, all that kind of stuff. This draft heavily reflects that, because if the mindset was, well, we don't really think that Sean McDermott's approach to team building and all and culture and all that kind of stuff was conducive to a winning atmosphere, then they would have instantly and immediately started to give some of these young guys an opportunity. They wouldn't have spent so much money on free agents like they have in the past, right? But the fact that they did that tells me two things. The first thing is, it's never been about money over culture. Culture is going to trump the money every single time, which is why we should never, ever expect a draft to have more than maybe one guy that gets an opportunity to come in and have some meaningful reps as a rookie.
Yeah.
Like realistically, the way they have this team build now, we should never expect that ever again, as long as Brandon Beane is the GM making these draft picks. And the second thing is the mentality of how these positions are treated.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we have never drafted a wide receiver in the first round. The fact that our corner is a guy that went through a very bad season 2 years ago with 14 penalties called against him. That's a bad season, right? Granted, the improvement and all that kind of stuff, but look at his background. Raised by a single mother. Not downing him for that. I was raised by a single mother. But what does that typically mean for young men that are raised by a single mother?
Respectful.
Right. They're a little softer around the edges. They're a little more docile. They're a little more respectful of authority. Because that's what they were taught. They were taught to be submissive.
You can call me soft. Y'all can't. Don't call me soft.
Listen. You and I have had to overcome that.
Yeah.
Right.
No. Yeah. I mean, it's true. When you listen to the analysts talk about Igbenison, they had him where I had him, 3rd, 4th round. Now, this is another instance of, did you have to have him? Beane said when he manipulates his board, you got those guys, you got to look at the board, you're like, damn it, I had to get that guy. Or he mitigates it by saying, how mad would I have been if I couldn't have got that guy? How mad would you have been if you couldn't get Igbenison? Is it because he's 6'2"? Is it because he's a physical player? But he's handsy. I mean, I don't see Stephon Gilmore in him. They're gonna boost it up. But I watched the game. See, I had my friend told me, he said, this is your safety. I said, no, he's not. I said, that's not your safety. I said, he's a boundary corner. That's what he is. That's all he is. Can you teach him to do something somewhat where he's not a liability? Sure. He's got enough, he's got enough athleticism for that. But at the same time, when you're drafting that at that position, not cornerback, but at the pick that they picked him at, what else was there? And I'm not going to go through the list again and rehash what was there at that pick, because it's not our pick. It's his pick. He picked who he liked. That's it. And, I saw Sampson say, come on, guys, it's a new system. I know, but the point is the players are the same. That's what drives me nuts about this thing. I was excited about the system change because I thought we were going to get a difference in player style, a difference in the makeup of the player that we draft. But it's the same guys we get all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to go ahead and say Igbenison, after you said his name is easy to say, and slap Ashton Yabodi on him, hey, do your thing. Because what if he is another preseason god and no-show in the regular season? I mean, you got 10 people. You pick 10 players, a punter, a tackle that played at Boston College who might be a guard but is now a swing tackle. When you have an aging tackle that may not be here next year, would you replace him with somebody that's 31, not 33 like him? You're going to go find out Austin Corbett that plays left tackle? Are you going to patchwork that together? I mean, where is this the competition, the real competition to make Alec Anderson sweat, to make Austin Corbett sweat at that left guard position that's supposed to be wide open if this is a real competition? I mean, Alec Henderson, for what he is, he really was a tackle. They paid him $3 million to change his position when you could have just drafted somebody, Pregnon, somebody, because guess what? On the right side, you still have a right guard situation because you haven't re-signed Osiris Torrance. This is his last year. What are you going to do? I mean, but we're talking about competition. Are we going to move? Are we going to finally give Cedric Van Pran Granger a shot? Is that what this is? You draft a cornerback who you have D. Alford. You have a guy that Jordan Hancock vouched for. Jordan Hancock can't even see the field. I'm not. Why would I vouch for him? Because I'm a good guy. We like him. So we go get him. Like, I want to see competition.
Exactly.
I want to see. I don't want to see. Alec Anderson. Welcome to the team. All the undrafted guys. Welcome to the team undrafted because he was undrafted. Cool. But I want you to rip their heads off. I want you to get in their grills. I want them better than you because you're only $3 million. It sounds like a lot of money because we don't have any, but $3 million says you're a backup. You're a quality backup. We want you on the team, but we want a starter. That's what the $3 million contract is for me in a position that we don't have an entrenched starter.
Yep.
So instead of doing that, we make him safe. We give him his $3 million. He has to lose the position. He's confident enough to welcome people to the team. If I was $3 million in that situation and I'm on a team where I'm not scared to lose my position, I'm not scared to lose the starting spot, I don't know how I would feel. Because I didn't even go watch Jude Baldry. I didn't watch him. I didn't go watch the other guy that they got. I went ahead and I said, you know what? Let me look at these other guys I have. Let's see. He says, Keys, can you explain how Beane could have completely changed our defense and roster while competing this year? Didn't have to completely change it. He didn't change anything. It's slow process. It's a slow process. You had a lot of the steps, but there was something that was missing. Not depth. Not depth. You don't address depth. You address the starters that are not starters.
Because that's what saves you money.
That's what saves you money. I mean, everybody, I can't listen. This is not to Albert's, but I can't listen to these. These are the phrases I cannot listen to anymore. I wrote them down so I won't forget them. In no particular order. In no particular order. Let's see. And of course I have to find them. But basically what it is what did you expect? We drafted 26. The boy they got the boy they wanted. We have to wait and see. Why do we have to wait and see 2 days after the draft ended? We have to wait and see. Says I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know. I believe in Beane. I believe in them. Why do we have to believe in them? They know more than you GMs. What was it, couch GMs, armchair GMs? You guys suck. I'll take that, but I can have my opinion. This is our show. If you, not you guys, but if anybody don't like the opinion, you got to go. And I understand that. But the point is, I'm not going to sit here idly and say because they did it, it's going to work. I'm not going to sit here and say it couldn't have been done because we just watched Miami, who has no money, draft. They swung for the fence because they're smart, because they're not scared.
Exactly.
Jacob Rodriguez and Kyle Lewis, who knows? They both might suck, but guess what? We're going to do this thing.
Right.
We're going to take this defensive end too. We're going to take this quarterback. We're going to take this because we're going to rebuild.
Yep. A
wide receiver, a tight end. We're going to rebuild. The Bills say, you know what? Keep kicking that door. Keep kicking that door. When are we going to realize that we got a new defensive coordinator, a new attitude, a new mantra, a new philosophy, but we got the same players, and we're bringing an influx of the same players into the pipeline? That's the problem. Mm-hmm. You don't have one speed edge rusher, Javon Solomon. So you're going to play him more, I'm guessing. So what did you use our first pick on TJ Parker, who's in a rotation with Javon Solomon, Greg Rousseau, Bradley Chubb, and Michael Hoyt as well? What?
When you look at the 5th round pick, Zane Durant, if you go on BuffaloBills.com and you go to their news section, it's Buffalo Bills NFL Draft Pick Tracker 2026. So this was posted 2 days ago at 6:30 p.m. Okay. I'm just going to read you the scouting reports that they posted on this site. The Bills posted these scouting reports from other people about their draft picks. All right. So this is for Armaz Reed Adams, the 7th round guard that we drafted. 6'5", 314 pounds. A scouting report from Dane Brugler of The Athletic says Reed Adams has NFL-ready size and is at his best using his run strength on down blocks, but his balance issues could be a limiting factor at the next level. He will have a chance to earn a reserve role in the NFL. Okay, 7th round pick. You took a shot. If it works, great. If it doesn't, great. You got Tommy Doman Jr., who people regarded as the best punter in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. That's the only, again, remember I told you they're going to have one starter. This is the one right here, the guy that they're going to give a chance to come in and start, right? And actually compete for a starting job. Nobody else is going to get that shot. Then you go to Toriano Pride Jr. This is another scouting report from Dane Brugler of The Athletic. Pride has the speed and ball skills for the next level, but he can be mismatched against bigger, stronger pass catchers and needs to develop better consistency to earn a spot on a 53-man roster. So again, a 7th round corner that, it sounds like based on his size and his ability and all that kind of stuff, probably a long shot to make the roster, right? Or at least he should be if this corner room, if the team in general was built out in a way that fosters high level competition at every string of position.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now here's where it gets interesting, right? Because everybody started to love, the picks, the picks from rounds, 2, 4, and 5. Right. And when you hear Beane talk about Zane Durant, the defensive tackle out of Penn State, you hear him talk about this guy as, 3-tech pass rushing type of defensive tackle, just kind of matter of fact, like, yeah, he's a similar skill set to Ed Oliver, and just very matter of fact, like, these picks are not just there for you to just throw something at the wall and see what sticks, but it does seem like this is how they're being used. Listen to the scouting report. Durant wins with play strength and violent hands. The team that drafts him will hope to bottle his disruptive flashes. Boy, that sounds a lot like what they said about Oliver, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have they really bottled Ed Oliver's disruptive flashes? He had 3 sacks last year, got injured. Before that, Daquan Jones wasn't healthy enough to really activate Ed Oliver on that defensive line. If Ed Oliver doesn't have a strong 1-tech that can hold 2 blockers and free him up, how many flashes in a bottle do we really capture? But they're doing it again in the 5th round. Same skill set, same body size, body type rather, everything.
Now, if you're telling me you're doing a 4-3, you put Ed and Zane together, I could listen to that.
I could see that.
I get excited about that.
For sure. Again, another scouting report by Dane Brugler of The Athletic. Okay. So let's go back to round 5 again, pick 167, Jalen Kilgore. They didn't even put a scouting report on this guy. You know what they did with Kilgore? They put him as, if you look at the depth chart, they have Jalen Kilgore behind D. Alford as a nickel corner.
Yeah, that's where I had him, the star. Yep.
Okay, cool. Except for the fact that your GM called him a safety and said that he's going to be a safety.
I would love for him to learn behind CJ, then move to the star role.
Yes.
That's I look, because he has the same temperament. Like, he's not going to get kicked off like 9 teams. I know that. Well, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. But he has the same play style.
No. You know why? Because Jalen Kilgore is probably going to be here for a few years, and they really only want to deal with CJ for
a year.
1 year.
Yep.
That's it. Yep. The CJ signing was solely so that people think that this year was different.
That's why they picked up Burton.
Yeah. Jermaine Burton.
That's why
right.
they did that.
The wide receiver. Yeah.
They're not going to keep him. He has no place in Buffalo. He's going to be here for 2-3 days. They tried it. New attitude. McDermott would never do that. Yep. This is going to be a McDermott smear campaign.
Yes.
That's what this is going to be.
That's what it's coming off as.
Yeah.
Hey, boy, your camera hates you right now, dude.
Now look like the back end of a contact lens. That's the back end of a contact lens.
I don't know what's happening right now.
Maybe I'm moving too much. I don't know if I'm moving enough. I have no idea.
Yeah, you know what? That football might be confusing. And pull that football out of the screen there. Just tip it. That it could be having an issue with what to focus on there. We'll see if it comes back to life. All right, so let's move forward to your boy Caleb Elam-Razor.
Mm-hmm.
Yet another scouting report from Dane Brugler. What's funny about this is you could put an anonymous scout said this about this player, and it could be one of your own scouts, so that people at the very least believe that you're doing your own homework, or that you as the general manager know what the heck you're drafting these players for. Right? Here's a scouting report on Elam-Razor. He is explosive in short areas and has range to cover ground. Given his athleticism and football character, teams like his floor as a special teamer with the talent to become more. Does that sound like a player that you want as a depth piece in an already very, very thin linebacker room? No, you want a guy that can do what? Come in and contribute right away if called upon, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like the guy you're getting here. It sounds like this guy needs a year.
Yeah, and this, see, like people were saying in the comments, and I see you guys, and I'll just address the majority of you guys are saying the same thing.
Let me see if I can turn this.
Ooh, my time again. They say that the depth is the reason why we lost the game. The depth is the reason why we're losing in the playoffs. But the point is, we're not supposed to backfill once you top fill. Dorian Williams is on his last year. Osiris Torrance on his last year. Bodega, I'm going to take your word on it. You love Jude, fine. I'll check him out. I'll check him out. I will. But in my mind, if I'm gonna do this right, I'm gonna backfill where I can't. I'm gonna backfill it with cheap labor from free agency. I'm not backfilling from a draft. I'm not gonna draft somebody to say, yeah, they're competing for a backup position. And I'm drafting guys. You know, if you're talking about TJ Parker, you just re-signed Bradley Chubb. I would draft somebody that would offset him if I don't believe in Javon Solomon. I would draft somebody to offset Terrell Bernard if I don't believe in him. I would draft somebody to offset Ed Oliver, which doesn't have to be a one tech. It could just be a beefier two tech, three tech, somebody that can slide in. I can tell you from what I saw, the guy has good off. The guy has good pad level. The guy has adequate pop. But at the same time, he doesn't have that thing that's going to unlock Ed Oliver. And if you're talking about a team that's trying to redo a system, trying to redo their philosophy, and you're not offsetting the entrenched stars that you have, try again, because even if the guy isn't going to be, somebody that takes over a game, he should be somebody to facilitate somebody who will take over the game. If you're talking about, you didn't get Caden, fine, but what about Dominique Orange? What about even Christian Miller? I mean, these are guys that you could have gotten later, and still offset that. They might not have the Caden McDonald skill set, but they can offset Ed Oliver enough that he can get off, and they are what they are.
Right. There's going to be people who still listen to everything that we've said so far and say, well, it was still a good draft anyway. Anyway, you guys don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And there's going to be another contingent of fans that say, well, you're just upset because you just wanted the guys you wanted. You didn't get Caden McDonald, so you're pissed off. This has nothing to do with that. I think the whole of what we're talking about right now is this draft class versus what you spent in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what, and to me, I mean, I don't know if that's exactly where you're going with this, but knowing you're a cap guy, I think we can agree it's always better to build through the draft. This team has not done that to a large degree in key positions that are the most expensive on the team, right? If you look at, and I guess what I mean by that, because people are going to say, oh, Greg Rousseau, Ed Oliver, Christian Benford. Yeah, Christian Benford worked out as a 6th round pick, but he's not a top 5 corner in the NFL right now. I think largely people would say he's top 10, maybe, but if you're basing all of that off of his play last year, I don't think you could say that. They played a lot more man last year, and he looked a lot more vulnerable last year. And in this defense that we're going into this year, they're going to be playing a lot more man. He's going to look pretty vulnerable. That's the other part of the reason why you draft Davison,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I guess the point I'm trying to make here is when I'm thinking about draft picks that I want to get into the door, I'm thinking, okay, the guy that I'm drafting at this key position, at this pass rushing position, can he come in and beat out Greg Rousseau? Well, why would you want him to beat out Greg Rousseau? Because I'm paying Greg Rousseau $19 million. And guess what? There's two things that happen if I draft a very, very good player, early in the draft or wherever in the draft, and he challenges and or pushes out the starter at that position. First thing is I get a young starter on a 4 to 5 year contract that I've got locked in at low pay.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing that happens is Greg Rousseau becomes an asset that I can then trade and go get something for. And I don't have to tell people that I don't believe in Greg Rousseau anymore. I can just simply say, you know what? Things aren't working out. Greg Rousseau is on the block. And teams are going to be like, oh, what do you want for him? What's wrong? No, nothing. Dude, send your doctors. They can check him out. He's healthy. He's fine. But we're going to go in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to say. You don't have to do what the 49ers did with Brandon Ayuk, basically telling the whole world, like, he's played his last game as a 49er. Okay, well, we'll just wait till you cut him. Right? So the second thing is he gives you an ability that young player that you slide into that starting spot as a rookie gives you an ability to trade the guy that was ahead of him. Now, guess what? Now you go into the following draft with more picks that you can use to do what? Move up. You see where I'm going here? Mm-hmm. And then what happens with all of this is all at the same time that you're getting the big time money out, you're getting the draft, the higher draft pick in, or whatever draft pick it is, so that you can move up. You're solidifying your roster, you're lowering your cap hits, and you're building a roster that is much more sustainable over a 5-year period than what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm. Because you're still going into next year. Somebody in the chat today said, well, this roster is not finished yet. Yeah.
Really? It's not finished yet?
We don't have no money. It's not even close. We don't have no money. Free agency's dried up. But see, that's the thing. It's more depth. It's more depth. We're not talking about starters. We're talking about depth.
Well, even with that, they don't have the money this year. They don't have the money next year either.
Well, my point is, I know that, but my point is, when are we going to not talk about depth? When are we going to stop talking about depth? We got
as if our starters are impeachable.
Yeah, we got 73 to 80 players right now, and they're solid
or unimpeachable. Sorry.
These guys, these last 10 are just going to get in where they fit in.
Right.
And that's what I'm talking. You don't have to change everything. And it's funny because somebody said, you guys don't even know what the defense is. Then they go ahead and say, we're going to be a rotation heavy defense. How do you know? And guess who did that? Beane and McDermott.
Yep.
Wow. Another thing that they did before that they're going to do now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Sounds mighty familiar. We're going to rotate heavy. As Beane said, we're going to rotate. We want to put him in a rotation. Why? When does Max Crosby get rotated? I don't want to hear Max Crosby was not there at 26. Where was he? 4th round, was he? Was he there in the 4th round? I think it was 4th round. Max Crosby got drafted. So
4th round.
Guess what? When does he go into a rotation? When do these other edge rushers go into rotations? Got to get 10 sacks. Got to get 12 sacks. Rotations? No. You come out when somebody needs a blow. That's the rotation. When on Madden and college football where they have that little thing that says, honestly, I think it was Tori earlier. He said, man, F a scouting report. They suck till they play. Agree. But see, that's the thing. That goes for the starters already.
Mm-hmm.
What's the new system? They all suck until they play. Ed Oliver, you suck till you play. Rousseau, you suck till you play. Bradley Chubb, you suck till you play. Christian Benford, Max Harris, you suck till you play. But that's the competition. The starters are the competition, not the backup. I don't care if anybody beats out DeMar Hamlin. I don't care if anybody beats out somebody, Jordan Hancock. I don't care if somebody beats out Geno Stone because they're not the starter.
Here's I like Daquan seems like he's very against what we're saying
He
today.
is. He hates us right now, but he's still my guy.
He says when we stop losing because of depth, you're gonna have to be very clear to me about which of our playoff losses at all had anything to do with a lack of depth. Because if you're telling me that the Bills lost that playoff game here to the Chiefs because of depth, no. The Bills lost that game because they didn't have anybody to throw to on 3rd and 5. That's why they lost that game. We didn't lose in Kansas City on 4th and 5 because of depth. We had an opportunity to score go-ahead scores twice in that game and didn't have anybody to throw the ball to. Couldn't get stops on defense. That's the starters. Like, when this team was healthy, we were still struggling against really good quarterbacks. That's the truth. When this team was at its peak, when this team was at its healthiest, we still lost to Kansas City at its healthiest, at its peak. And the Chiefs had less playmakers on their team by y'all definition than we had on ours. If you really want to go there, like their best corner when we played them in the 13 seconds game was what? L'Jarius Sneed, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's their best corner. They didn't even have Trent McDuffie. They had one guy in L'Jarius Sneed. We didn't have another receiver good enough to like be. Well, I guess that's more of a defensive loss in that game. That's a bad example there. But we didn't have a corner better than Levi Wallace. We didn't have anybody who knew better than to listen to the coach when he says play deep. Why am I playing deep, giving up space? A star corner, a true, like a true starter, star level corner would have been like, I hear what you're saying, coach.
It's all
That's stupid.
It's all I'm not doing that.
Right. And case in point to that, for those of you that are saying, no, a player's not going to go against the coach. Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes did in the same game when they went to that fade pass on Matt Milano. That wasn't the play call. Kelce went up to Milano, Kelce went up to Patrick Mahomes like, yo, I'm going to run the fade, hit me. Yeah. Bottom line.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to get through that thick wall of I refuse to believe you guys because I have to believe in the team is at some point you have to admit that the quality of starters has not been good enough to even consider the quality of depth.
That's my point. See, when people mention depth, I didn't say we're going to just lop off the bottom half of the team. I said some of the top half should be in the bottom half.
Yep.
Some of that, we'll still have 53 players, 46 on game day.
Yep.
But some of the people that we have trotting out there in the charging buffaloes with the smoke and the lights and the music and Benny the Butcher and all this stuff should not be running out of there. They should be on the side giving people each of the depth. They should have a hand out like this. That's them. Yeah. But instead, we got to watch retreads like, Gabe Davis, we couldn't hack it, so Gabe Davis got to start again. We got to get Brandon Cook starting again. Amari Cooper got to start as soon as he comes back to Buffalo, or as soon as he comes into Buffalo. You got, Jordan Poyer got to come back and start after a bad year in Miami. You got Trey White who comes in and beats your rookie. This is what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's not the fact when people get hurt. It's not the fact when people just lose their job. But when do we swing at somebody, like I said in the last show, or the show before the draft, or maybe it was a draft show, where I said, take the swing. If after 2 years you don't like the rookie you drafted, get rid of him. It don't cost you nothing. You have to know what you have. You have to evaluate it and say, I cut my losses. It ain't work. Give me a 5th-round draft pick. I'll parlay that to another 1st-round draft pick and do it again. And no, I'm not stupid enough to say 1 5th round goes into a first. But what I'm saying is use that 5th to move up with, a couple of other things. But
you're paying. I just want to see something really quick.
What I do, Daquan? He says some of these guys are people are fathers. I am.
We're both fathers for sure.
No, but and Tori said, I don't know what do you say?
Okay, so here's where is it? How much is Cole Bishop making right now? Oh, that's not even what I want. Cole Bishop, where are you? So here's what I'm trying to get to while I look for Cole Bishop's contract.
Yeah, I was going to say, Lord, to your comment, Max Crosby came out of the MAC. I think he went to Eastern Michigan. Nobody cared about him. Not even being funny. Out of the MAC, nobody cared. Go ahead.
I'm really having a hard. Hold on a second. I might have to just search this. This is crazy.
Oh, so while you do that,
my eyes ain't working the way they need to today.
Because all right, while you do that,
dealing with stuff.
Okay, so this is old, I know, but I promise you guys, I'm not going to get too far behind here. I probably will, but who cares? Tori said, I agree with whoever it was at the time. He said, not sure how they can't say that meaning us. So what? We got depth. People have more than one credit card. Is that a bad thing? How many $500 credit cards does it take to buy a Maybach?
That's exactly the point. That is exactly the point. That's what the Bills have been trying to do. They've been trying to win Super Bowls with a bunch of
gift cards.
Right. So really quick.
Yeah, go.
What lends to our point here about trying to get young guys, in starting positions that are good enough to do so. Cole Bishop's cap number for this season is $1.1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know what Geno Stone? Do you know where Geno Stone is on the depth chart right now? He's behind Cole Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much money he's making?
More than Cole Bishop.
$1.2 million this year. That's his cap hit. Okay, if you go and look at their contracts, Geno Stone's cap hit is $1,262,500. Cole Bishop's for this for this year is $1,190,545.
And Geno Stone's going to take his spot?
No. No.
That's my point.
But this is a prime example of what we're talking about right now as far as mismanagement of funds. Why did you need to sign Geno Stone to back up Cole Bishop? You have him on the depth chart backing up a second or third year player who is going to stay in that position, who you've said multiple times that you love and can't wait to get to work with him. Your defensive coordinator sees him as a reflection of himself, all that kind of stuff, and you sign a guy making more money than him to come back him up. What was wrong with trying to get Jalen Kilgore out of the draft and have him go back up Bishop? Same spot. You called him a safety. Let him develop behind Bishop. Who cares? You think Bishop is going to be insulted by a fourth-round pick coming in to compete with him? No. Do you think fourth-round Jalen Kilgore has a chance to beat out Cole Bishop for a spot? Probably not.
Right.
But that's the point.
Yeah.
You get another guy on an even smaller contract who's younger and has a chance to develop behind your guy that's starting, right? The other starter at safety is who? C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Who's behind him? Jordan Hancock.
Yeah.
Do you know who's behind Jordan Hancock? Damar Hamlin. Why is Damar Hamlin even on this roster? Oh, it's for special teams. Duh. Well, did you know that behind Geno Stone? Did you know that it's silly? Did you know that behind Geno Stone, who's backing up Cole Bishop for more money, has Sam Franklin behind him?
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
That's the special teams.
Everybody forgot about Sam Franklin. But he's a core special teamer.
Yeah. That's what he brought him back for.
So what the heck do you need DeMar here for? I mean, again, I'm not saying this stuff to like flat out disrespect these players. I'm just trying to show how none of this stuff makes sense if the idea is to win Super Bowls. And we've seen that the template for winning Super Bowls, it's surrounded around the idea that you find young talent, you supply your roster with young high-end talent, and then you couple that or you kind of you supplement that with other older, more established guys that help with the culture, help to coach up the young guys, and help to be there in case one of those young guys gets injured, because you want an experienced guy going in there. Not a young, like most of the time, it's more of a detriment to get a young rookie coming in as a backup. Why? Because not only is he not getting reps in practice, but now he's going to go out there in live bullets that he hasn't been, playing in for any long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you get a veteran to play backup and he comes in, he's already been through live bullets. He's been there, done that, right? So for him, it's cool. You can pay me whatever little bit of money you paying me, but we're only seeing that happen in one spot on the team right now. Again, if the idea is championships, how are these moves leading to championships? You and I just said Zion Logue is probably the best bet to win that nose tackle spot. He's third on the depth chart behind Fedarian Mathis and Deion Walker for nose tackle.
The service.
He played the position in college.
Yeah. Yep.
0 and 1. He did it.
That's all he did. He gives you nothing else.
For not for NC State.
Right.
He did it for Ohio State.
Yeah.
High level football.
Yeah. Georgia.
Oh, I'm sorry, Georgia.
Yeah.
He did
SEC.
it for Georgia. Right.
Yeah.
But you don't want to. I mean, he's got to be behind Fedarian Mathis, obviously. Like he has to be. Silly. It's silly.
A bunch of these I had to get to. I'm not going to pile on Daquan because you're the next one. I'm going to skip that one just for now. Just let you breathe. If I can get this to come up. Let's see. I think most people thought Beane was going to trade out of the first round, but day two. So it's confusing because it had so much power, it had so much steam, it had so much promise to move around with and get guys of note. Somebody even said in the chat, whether you're being funny or not, there were a lot of people at 26 that were impactful that could have been taken. Those same guys at 26 were still there at 35. So it was different for me.
You got to get to the next comment.
Sorry.
More.
Okay, this upset me. Roy said, I'm triggered now. He said, you heard Beane say Bell was a fourth wide receiver?
Yeah. Go ahead and address that. Go on, address that.
Okay, so he's behind DJ Moore, which I get. Khalil Shakir, which I get. But you're putting him behind Joshua Palmer. You're putting him behind. That looks weird.
Yeah.
You're putting Keon Coleman behind him, which okay, fine. You let him spar. But did you our lads have a depth chart? Is that what you're looking at? The depth chart with regards to rookies. Yeah. I don't know. Does he jump ahead of Keon Coleman behind DJ Moore? Did they put him where he's supposed to be over in the Z? Take your time and look that up.
For who?
Skylar Bell.
Skylar Bell is behind Khalil Shakir as a slot. He's not even getting a shot at an outside spot. Tyrell Shavers is behind Josh Palmer on the depth chart.
One leg, one wheelie.
Oh yeah, still second string. The only guys behind Tyrell Shavers is McCole Hardman Jr., who was behind Khalil Shakir as a slot, and then Ja'Cory Macklin, the undrafted free agent. Behind DJ Moore is Keon Coleman, Trent Sherfield, and Jalen Virgil. I mean, this is yo folk. This is yo folk talking about, we love Skylar Bell. He, his skill set is so versatile. This is Steve Smith's favorite wide receiver. And we said, we're going to take all this potential and put it in this itty bitty tiny little living space. Like that's what they've done with Skylar Bell. Played outside in college, played all over the field in college. You're a slot, dude.
Should never see people are saying, "Don't worry about the depth chart." I know it's not gospel. However, what is the one position of need? The one position of need is a Z. Mm-hmm. Because Palmer is always hurt, and he didn't do anything last year. He's on the chopping block, they say. And this guy was drafted as an outside guy. I don't care what they say. But when Joe Brady said that they see a lot of Khalil Shakir, I'm like, oh no, not this again. No, please no. Because that tells me they're going to try to put him inside. They're going to fit him in there. They just let them do work. Let them do work. And yeah, I get it. I understand the depth chart. We're not saying that the 53 is written, but what I'm saying is, and I'll say it again, we're talking about depth. 2 days removed from a draft. Depth. Now, if we're talking about depth on day 3, sure. But when everybody says, before we even see them, as you said, before we even see them on the field, they're rotational pieces.
Mm-hmm.
How do you not feel a kind of way about that? When you got guys going in there, you saw Ruben. Did you see when Ruben Beane came out? We were there, but we weren't actually together. But did you see when he walked out? He walked out like Brock Lesnar, like Bill Goldberg. Yeah. He was a man on a mission. He was pissed. Now, is he gonna bust? He might. He could. But the point is, they didn't draft him to bust out. They drafted him because of an elite trait. They drafted him because of pedigree. They drafted him because of whatever. Now, did you know that the only person that we drafted out of the 10 players we drafted with any kind of accolade was TJ Parker?
Yeah.
Not an all conference, not an all district, not an all team, not cap, nothing.
And that was really from his 2024 season.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about that? If you remember, how many sacks did he have in 2025?
6.
How many sacks did he have in 2023?
Oh, yeah, 6. And then 24 was 14. Yeah.
2023, he had 6 sacks, right? It was a base 4-2-5. They ran a 4-3 hybrid. The structure for the front was 4 down. They ran a tight front. So that's the 4-eye, 0-4-eye. Even fronts, they had a 5-3-1-5. They ran creepers, sims with edges dropping. What'd that sound like? Yeah, 6 sacks. All the stress was on the linebackers in that front. The linebackers did everything. All they were responsible for was trying to get to the quarterback. That's all they had to do.
Yeah.
Go to his best year, 2024. There's a base 4-3. Base 4-3. Not a hybrid at all. He ran fewer simulated pressures, fewer stunts, 2 5 wide defensive ends, a 1 tech and a 3 tech. That's it. Nothing more. Now, the linebackers were responsible for filling the gaps. So the year where he played his best, he was a traditional 5 tech defensive end. Not 7, not 9, not 4-eye, not the odd front, a traditional 4-3, not hybrid, not 4-2-5. Let's go to the latest iteration. Tom Allen came from Penn State. 2025. They ran a 4-2-5.
Mm-hmm.
4 down, attacking front. Penetration, tackles for loss, aggression, alignments. His defense in 2024 in Penn State, number 1 in tackles for loss. Top 5 in sacks. Top 5 in sacks. In the nation in 2024. The blueprint that he brought to Clemson. TJ Parker had 6 sacks. 6 sacks. The defense that he flourishes in is a traditional 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
Who ran that?
It's McDermott.
He didn't run any simulations. He didn't run any twists. No blitzing.
That's crazy, bro. And they drafted him to be an outside linebacker. And the way he rushes, he looks like a 4-3 defensive end. That's
what he is. He rushes. He's a prototypical 4-3. And is he going to give you double-digit sacks every year? Maybe not. But he will give you double-digit sacks. So when people say I'm intrigued with this guy, I get it. I get it. But now they're talking about bones. We're not taking the depth chart seriously. I just said that.
I want to address that in a second too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at the history versus what they said we're getting away from because it didn't work, why are we doing more of it? Mm-hmm. And that's why people say, you don't know what they're doing. Well, tell me, history is repeating itself.
Yep.
Until they prove otherwise, now they're going to go ahead and put an odd front out there, and they're going to cram TJ. What's the guy? Landon Jackson. They already said he's a 4-eye.
Yep.
Got a torn ACL, but they already know he's like a 4-eye. Because Beane said so. He's going to have his hand in the dirt. He's not going to stand up because Beane just said so.
And Beane said it, so who's going to stand in his way on that?
McDermott? Oh, never mind.
No. There's no more of that. No, I guarantee you that Joe Brady does not have anything in his contract that he controls the 53.
Right.
I guarantee that.
Right.
Guarantee that. But
Yes.
to
He said Samson said Landon Dunn.
of course. To Bone's point here, let me try to make this clear for everybody. We were the only show for 2.5, maybe 3 years that was calling out the head coach and Sean McDermott and saying that what he was doing was not good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
We called out all of the different idiosyncrasies that he had that did not equal winning in the postseason. We went hard on his scheme. We went through all of the different things that we thought he influenced this team with, from culture to how they draft players. We put a lot on Sean McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm bringing his name up is, at the end of the day, as soon as he got fired, what was everybody else saying? The same exact stuff that we were saying about him.
Mm-hmm.
Then the news comes out and we find out that Sean McDermott really wasn't in charge of the draft, which kind of changes things for us, from the standpoint of us putting it all on Sean McDermott. Then we kind of pivot and say, well, if that's the case, then Brandon Beane should have been fired. And people got on us. Well, Brandon Beane's fine. Beane Island. Okay, cool. We'll at least give you this. Let's see how the draft goes. Because that's that and free agency is typically how you judge your general manager.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let's see how it goes. Then we have this draft that we've had, which, like you said before, looks just like every other draft from before. So the only change that we've had on this team in the last year and a half that's been any kind of significant since you and I have been banging on Sean McDermott and saying he's the problem. They got him out of here. Your owner said the same thing that you and I have been saying for 3 years, and everybody agreed with it. Okay. Now we're saying, no, Brandon Beane was also part of that problem. He needed to go. I think half of the city is with us on that, and half of the city is still kind of holding on to, no, the Bills retained him, so because they did and they gave him the job, I need to trust that guy because, there's not many of those jobs in the NFL, and I certainly don't have the job, so I think he can do it. They're still holding out optimism and hope for that,
mm-hmm.
right? To those people and to people who think we're going too hard, I would say, look at our track record of how we judge the team and tell us where we've been just egregiously wrong.
I'll wait, because I remember previous to the WGR incident, I started to think, is this Brandon Beane?
Yep.
I pivoted before it was popular. That's where this whole Believe in Beane Island came from. That's where this whole Big Baller Bean, where all this came from.
I even fought with you on this.
You did.
Because I remember, no, it's Sean, damn it. And you're no, Beane, screw Beane.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not a victory because we don't know. We don't know what the end result is. And that's the point. See, this goes back to the show we did a while ago where it's like, you aren't listening to us because we're not bagging on the players. We don't say they suck. We're not saying that they're stuck in this position, but what we're saying is, again, the same messaging, the same depth, competition. How do you have competition when you're talking about depth? You brought them in to compete with the backup. Why? Because you had to be right.
Yep.
You had to be right before. That's why you have to come in with the backup. We can't draft somebody or redraft somebody that's better than or change the recipe for the defensive end. It's going to work. I said we'll kick the door. It's going to fall down. And TJ Parker to me represents kicking the door. These guys are representations, an unfortunate representation of what I've already said. They're an unfortunate representation because you all watch the show. You heard me say, yo, I can't wait. Jim Leonard, we about to get that edge rusher, that bendy dude. We're going to get that. We're going to get another Max Harrison. We're going to get a safety. We're going to get a line. This is what's going to happen. Fellas, this is not three. I was rah-rah the hell out of this defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then you give me the same players we already have. So how can I say the defense that I thought we were going to build is built when we have the same players we had before?
Yep.
Then on top of that, you don't need a one tech, but it would have been nice, especially if you're going to get another Bradley Chubb. It'd have been nice if you're going to, if you're going to double down on Greg Rousseau, because what happened? The pass rush was anemic. Is the scheme going to overcome all the deficiencies of the pass rush? We got 3 guys that are pretty rigid. They don't have much bend. They win with their length. They win with their power, but they don't win with their speed. They don't win by getting little. But we brought another one in. He said, Javon Solomon, we forgot about him. That's our guy. But you just drafted another defensive end / outside linebacker, which is what you said, Javon Solomon. So where does he fit? In the rotation where? We're talking about a rotation. Somebody corrected me, said Philadelphia had a rotation. Look who they had. Mm-hmm. You can't keep any of those guys on the bench. You can't, it can't be done. And it's an anomaly of what they built over there. And it's a beautiful thing. And every team is not them. Every team is not afforded that luxury. But the thing is, you gotta figure out how to make the best out of what you got. And I'm not going to say that Brandon Beane didn't do what he thought was best. He has a vision. And all we can do is sit and see if it works. All we can do is sit here and say, okay, I don't understand it, but you picked him, so I know you have a vision for him. But when the guy that trades back, then trades up, then trades back and says, yeah, we see him as rotational. We see him as, we already have rotational pieces. And why is it that nobody is upset about the fact that all we have is rotational pieces for the most part? Mm-hmm. When is there going to be a person that comes in and says, you know what, this is my spot? Like when Von Miller came in and said, I'm not rotating, but they still made a rotator until he got hurt. When you have guys that you're paying a premium, whether it be a high draft pick, whether it be money, you trade up and get somebody, you trade back and get somebody that's different than what you got, not because you need or you like the player for who they are personally. You get them because you like what they put on the field. Jermaine Burton, not that great. Didn't care for him at Alabama. But if he was great, I would have to say, all right, you keep your hands to yourself and make this football club because we need your skill set.
Right.
Somebody said, I guess Keon Coleman's a ghost. No, because Keon Coleman he's relegated to behind an entrant starter. Will they rotate him in? Sure, he'll get some burn, but he's not going to get a lot of burn. I don't think he's going to get as much burn as he should. I think they're going to bring Skylar Bell in. They're going to bring Khalil Shakir. They're going to wait for Joshua Palmer to get out there and do his thing.
Really quick, J Ham, I pinned. I didn't pin. I posted an older episode. I think this is from 2 years ago on Sean McDermott, an episode that we did on Sean McDermott and it's pretty much his culture and how coaches are leaving and all that kind of stuff. Just so you can, see some of the stuff that we had been saying about, Sean McDermott, the year before he was fired. I mean, if anybody really wants to fact check what we've been saying and you have some time, there's plenty of stuff from year 2 of this show, which is heavily analyzing the scheme, heavily analyzing the draft strategy, team building.
It's just the evolution.
Yeah.
And a lot of, people in the comments can say, Sam said Bell is better than Burton. Oh, hands down. Yeah. He's better than Burton. That's not a question. I don't even think, I think Burton coming in is image. It's just for image. He wants to try out. He wants to get some burn. His agent said, can he come over there and work out with your guys? We got the space because White Steve ain't really probably going to get a jersey. Yeah. You got some guys that are interested. They say, yeah, we'll bring him in, let Josh throw him a couple balls, and that's it. But no, Bell to me, and my man said this. It was funny. My man said, Spin, you're right. It has, but also, Spin, make sure you put in there that there's a lot of content to show Dog and Bean too.
Well, now we do.
I did. That's one point.
You have for a long time.
And for the longest time, I said, I want McDermott to change his mentality, the way he coaches. I want him to change the way he runs his organization. Mm-hmm. I've said millions. I didn't want him fired. I needed him to change his mindset. And unfortunately, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah.
However, I told you guys, with being there, we need somebody that knows how to scout. We need a scout. We need somebody more of a money guy. Because Overdorf's been there for 40 years now.
Yep.
This is his 40th season. How much longer is he going to go? He learned in Napoleon.
Mm.
That's your ace in the hole. He learned in Napoleon. So, you might want to say we're negative. You might want to say that. And I'm trying to qualify everything here by saying I'm not attacking the kids. I'm not attacking the kids. I'm attacking what I thought we were building when we're not changing anything but the scheme. So we knew this was going to happen when McDermott said, or when Beane said, and McDermott was still here, keep kicking at the door. Keep kicking at the door. And McDermott was still in place. McDermott never said keep kicking at the door. So he found somebody that said, I believe in the guys. This is a Super Bowl roster. Enter her boy Joe Brady. Enter Pat McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
That he takes, and he makes the rounds together. McAfee's up there eating hot dogs with him up at the combine, and where's Brady at? And they're just having a ball. I'm losing faith in Gray. Honestly.
Laura taking shots. She says someone's favorite pick in last year's draft was Caden Prather, so sometimes it's hard to know how the draftees will shake out.
Who was my favorite pick, Laura?
Who was it?
Deion Walker.
Yeah. But here's I don't need to defend the Caden Prather thing, because I mean the reality of it is they didn't have enough space on the roster.
Laura said, bang! No.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But at the end of the day, again, it's never been about one specific player that I didn't get that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, again, do your own research into what we've been talking about. What?
I like that you said that. I did research today just because I was riding around. We were going to pick up Ken.
Okay. So
I said, let me just look at football. You know what popped up?
What?
Too early draft 2027. You know what they had us drafting?
Oh, God, pass rusher.
Defensive end from Miami. Defensive end from Miami. Demond Wilson out of Miami.
I wonder why.
2 days removed from the draft. They have us at 31. So they say we went to the Super Bowl and we still need an edge rusher.
It truly is unbelievable. How could someone come to that conclusion? The way too early draft for next year is the same position you just drafted. Mm-hmm. Why would that be? Is it because Greg Rousseau is coming up on a year in his contract when he could be dealt easily with not a lot of repercussions? Is it because the guy that you gave a 1-year contract to is very injury prone and probably won't get a contract extension? I wonder why. Because look, it comes down to this. There are those of you who, as some of you have said in the chat already, you don't want to poo-poo the season. You don't want to just say there's no chance. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is this team with Josh Allen, can they, get lucky in the playoffs and make it? Sure.
Right.
None of us are saying that we can't win a Super Bowl with this team. What I think we've tried to point to for years now is the idea of the draft, the idea of free agency, the idea of cap management is the goal, I should say, is to try to position yourself in all three areas of team building so that you have the highest chance for success. And success is defined by Super Bowls. If you did not win a Super Bowl, I'm sorry, you did not have a successful season. I did not grow up in the era where every kid got a trophy. I don't live in that era. I don't believe in that era. I don't care what anybody says. If my son plays soccer and he gets a trophy, I'm taking it away. You don't deserve that, son. You didn't win. That's just the bottom line.
It's funny you say that because, I sidebar real quick before everybody leaves because you hate us that much.
And we dropped like 20 views.
We dropped a whole bunch of people. Look at the views. But no, we took Ken to see Michael Jackson in the Michael movie.
Okay.
Whoever played Michael, that dude is a star. He's going to be good. I don't know who he is. Jafar Jackson, whatever. It's almost like he knew him or something like that.
Can you really be a star playing another star?
Bro, yes. Think about it like this.
Yes.
But think about this. Think about it like this, though. So you're playing your uncle.
Okay.
While your dad's over here being played by somebody you've never met before. How did you do that? Like, you ain't my dad. But yes, you are, kind of. Jermaine. Anyway, but no, he said at one point, yeah, Sam, I was joking. This is his nephew. Jam, I know it was his nephew. I know.
Okay, easy now, man.
But no, I mean, honestly, he was excellent. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. However, at any point in the movie, they won a trophy. And when they got home, Joe said, everybody, the mom was like, all right, everybody wash their hands. It's time to go to bed. He's like, we got to rehearse. It's like, what do you mean? He's like, nah. He said, you only do one of two things. You either win or you lose. There's nothing else. And to your point, which I remember when I said when Mac was here and he hated me for it. I said, if you didn't win a Super Bowl at this point, you're a failure. I said that. And so people were like, yes.
Yes.
And the Bills were one of them.
Exactly.
Because, okay, this is how I qualified Daquan. I qualified as this. Any team who says our goal for this year is to be a winning team. If you're a winning team, you are a success. Any team that says we want to make the playoffs this year, if you made the playoffs, you're a success. The Bills can't say any of that anymore. The playoffs are a foregone conclusion. We've been there, 9 out of 10 seasons?
But see, and maybe my mindset is harsher on that. I don't even think it. Let's just say the Bills, the year they broke the drought, they count that as a success. Well, that's all based on how you define success.
That's what I'm saying,
right?
Yeah.
So for the Bills front office, if their goal was to make the playoffs, then sure, that was a success to them. But what I'm saying is, when you look at what the overall goal for all 32 NFL teams in the league is every single year, the goal is what? Winning a Super Bowl. So by that definition, success is in the NFL winning a Super Bowl. Success is not, what an individual team defines its own success is. That's just what they want to use to try and qualify whatever they do or don't do in that season. But you cannot tell me that the Chiefs have not been a successful team multiple times. You can't tell me that the Eagles have not been a successful team multiple times. Why can't you tell me that? Because they have multiple Super Bowls in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that Tampa Bay wasn't successful in their idea to go and get Tom Brady and bring him to Tampa Bay. He got them to a Super Bowl and won it. That was a successful decision, right? You define your decisions by the success that you have with them. And if you're not winning Super Bowls with those ideas or with those thought processes or with those team building those team building protocols, then you are in fact not a successful general manager.
Yeah.
Not a successful owner, not a successful team. I don't care how you want to justify how many games this franchise has won under Sean McDermott, under Terry Pegula, under whoever. The bottom line is, when it comes to handing out the trophies, how many do we have? Because if you're going to stand on 2 feet tall with your back straight and your chest puffed out and say, oh, the Bills are still a good organization. Yeah, okay, good. But how much success by the definition of the league they play in do they have? The answer is none. They have no trophies. And if you get pissed off at that and say, well, I still think we're a successful team, then you're also next to your child in line to get that participation trophy, and you should just be honest and admit that. And that's okay. If that's who you are and that's who you want to be, say that. But what we have people doing in the chat on a regular basis is getting in here and telling us we're doing too much. Like that, you trying to belittle what we're doing or trying to distort what we're doing. We're trying to keep the focus where it needs to be, which is championships. And I strongly believe that if the focus was on championships the entire time, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about frustrating draft picks.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, to circle back on why this was a disappointing draft for me. It has nothing to do with the play, but like I said, the people that everybody pretty much after day 2 was like, what, why, what? Either whether it be Caden McDonald, whether it be, I wanted Jermiah McCoy or I wanted this other person. It's just like, wait, what? Why? And day 3, as always, makes up the draft. Every year, day 3 is like, let him cook. I see it going. I see what he's doing. But the thing is, why do we have to figure it out? Every team out there does have to figure it out. You got Josh Allen, who was entrenched as a quarterback. At this point in time, go get yourself Jeremy Bernard, and then go get Skylar Bell.
Thank you.
Go get yourself Chris Bell, and then go get Skylar Bell.
As soon as I heard about Jermaine Burton, I thought, okay, that's why they didn't get another receiver in the draft.
So what are we bitching about?
Right. Which is the same thing they did last year with
Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
And that's funny because some people in the know actually compare Skylar Bell to Elijah Moore.
Who's now on the Eagles.
Who will be fine.
Yep.
Who can run routes, who can get open, who can do the things that we need him to do, but guess not here.
Who did it as an outside number 2 receiver in Cleveland and put up 800 yards in the season.
Yeah.
What like it takes, I'm just going to say it. It takes a special kind of stubborn to just ignore what we're saying as if we're being too harsh on the team, to just dismiss what we're saying as if we want the team to lose.
Yeah.
It takes a special kind of stubborn to not even be willing to just listen and just consider that maybe based off of the history that we've put forth on this show, there may be some credibility to what we're saying.
Damn it, Daquan. After all that, you get a C+. That's what I gave it to. What are we doing? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But no,
say it with your chest, bro. That's real right there.
Right.
After all of that defending,
he killed us.
Like, come on, you gave him a C+. I love you, bro, but damn, you got to give us a break, man. You cannot come at us like that anymore.
To answer your other question, did they grade the draft? It's wide range. I've seen anywhere from I've actually seen somebody give it a, but most people are between like B- and D+. I've seen in that range. So yeah, and like I said, I gave it a C+. The depth was cool, but I wish we'd have had some top end on the team talent, not top end, because people are gonna say, well, TJ Parker's top end, Benison is top end on the team, because TJ Parker is not going to be Mr. Migos at a D. TJ Parker is not going to be a day one starter. Benison is not going to be a day one starter.
Mm-hmm.
Bowery's not going to be a day one starter. Keep going. I mean, the only person they said could be is Kilgore. They said Kilgore is the only one that could be a day one starter because he could play that star role.
Mostly because the guy ahead of him is too damn small.
Yes.
I just don't know how D. Alford is going to do it. And Grant, okay, look, they're only paying the man $3 million this season. I get it, but he's 29 years old. He's 5'10", 180 or something like that. And Kilgore's coming in at 6'2", 210 or so, whatever it is he's coming at. Like, big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference in strength, in ability to shed blocks, all of that stuff.
Yeah, if you watch Kilgore play, you had to rein him in.
Right.
Going to rein him in because he plays like he's much bigger than he actually is. And he's violent. He's very violent. Kilgore's 200. Don't see it on the field. I saw him as a head cracker. Punter will be a starter.
Right.
Whatever. Sure. I mean, that's true.
Laura says, I honestly think Beane got exactly the players he wanted. Yeah. Now, what we think of them is certainly debatable.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I definitely think so. And the thing about the draft for me, once again, if you're pulling 10 players and you're saying we got to get depth competition, like you just said, you have Geno Stone with then Sam Franklin with then whoever else behind him, which is behind whoever else after that. You don't need. What killed me was when you traded out of 6 and got 2 7s. What? We don't need no more players here. We're done. So yeah, Cato. I think he's gonna play that big nickel. You're talking about Kilgore, I believe, right? Yeah, that's where I see him being. If you guys still had your second picks and didn't get DJ Moore, what would you have done with that pick? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't thought of it. But I mean, that's not to say there's nobody there that I wanted or didn't want. I don't know. And that's the thing about the DJ Moore. If you saw day 2, what I said before the draft, I said, now that we traded out of the first round, I'm good with DJ Moore. I don't even care anymore because we got our second round draft pick. Now with that pick, I was like, okay, cool. You want Caden McDonald? I don't. Cool. If we get him, he's cool. I want Cassius Howard. We get him, he's cool. I want Anthony Hill Jr. We get him, cool. I had a list of like 28 people.
Yep.
28 people at that position. When he picked, you said, let me look. I said, I got him. I pulled him off my list. I don't even have a scut because I got him off of there. The one of the three people that I was like, well, he wasn't somebody I was like, hell no. But he was somebody I was like, nah, they're not taking him. I'm good. Because I thought we're going to get that bendy edge dude. I thought our Mason Thomas is going to be the move. Cassius Howell is going to be the move. And exactly. Charles, you know what? Let me get to you because I don't want to ignore. I have a lot of people queued up here. He had a question here. What did I do with it? He asked a question somewhere in all of this. Dang it. Ask it again, Charles, because I saw it and I didn't catch it. You asked a question earlier. What do we think about something? I just missed it. Daquan. Okay. Look at my face.
Wouldn't he know?
Look at my face.
Of course he knows.
Josh Allen is never going to complain about anything on the face of the earth.
Correct.
Josh Allen is this new age Mr. Rogers. Josh Allen is like, Josh Allen was nervous about banging the drum at the thing. He could have played. He could have played the wrong tune. Nobody would have cared because nobody heard it. Because it's Josh Allen. He's worried about his beer being too cold to chug. I said, wait, what? That's a thing. Anyway, but my thing is, Josh Allen is gonna make do with whatever he gets, and that's the thing about him. That's almost to a fault. What else we have? A whole new system. Yeah, we talked about that. A whole new system, guys. Come on, but why is it not new players, not new skill set? It's the same players. That's where I am with it. I know it's a new system. I'm excited about Jim Leonard, but I wanted to see, like I said in the beginning of the show,
it's a new system on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And I mean,
like I said in the beginning of the show, if you got what you wanted out of this draft, you're gonna love the draft. It's how it is. You wanted a wide receiver, I did too. But I also wanted that bendy dude that was going to get to the. I wanted somebody. They're like, where is 2? Where is 91? Where is not 91 because I said Oliver, so they better be saying that. But you know what I mean. Where's 97? Whoever. Mm-hmm. Where is that guy? We got to slide protection to that guy because he's a menace. The way we beat him is doing this, throwing to the side, running to the side. But guess what? That opens up 10 other guys to do what they do best. And that's what I wanted. And that's why I said that one elite trait. Because I want that guy that does that one thing so good. He can suck at 3 other things, but so good the rest of the team takes some slack. And I don't feel we've got that. That's the thing. And if I might be wrong because everybody said Deion Walker was going to be garbage. And I didn't get it. But got to do it again.
Oh, wait. No, that's not the one I was going for. Sam said Parker is top 15 talent. You always take the best player available. Look, when Brandon Beane was asked about his board on WGR this morning, Jeremy White asked him, do you compare your board up against the consensus board? And
we have an infiltrator.
Oh, snap. What's going on, Joe? No. Since you've been gone, we have had very few AO moments on the show. It'd be nice if you come back and make some, but
right.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, to where was I at?
Oh, I'm sorry. You were talking. No, you were talking, and then somebody said, "Junior, it messed me up."
Oh, here it is. Yeah. So Brandon Beane was on with WGR this morning, and he was asked about his board and how it lines up with the consensus board. And did he compare the two while when he was making his picks or even before the draft? And Brandon Beane essentially, in all of his rhetoric that he put out as an answer to that question, basically said that they play to the beat of their own drum.
Right.
They don't consider anybody else's intake because in their minds, everybody has different thought processes on where players should go. So they really just stick to what they believe about players.
Right.
If that's the case, that is the equivalent of me deciding that I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to teach myself how to become an electrician. And by teaching myself, I mean, I'm just going to assume based on what I've seen happen around me for some years that I know exactly who the good players and the bad players are, and the players that are right for my team and the players that are not. I'm going to go based off of, just rooms that I've been in throughout my life. No training, no nothing like that. Never had the position before. I'm just going to come in and decide right then and there. I'm not going to listen to anybody else's opinion. I'm not going to listen to anybody else's input. I'm going to decide on my own that this is the way that I think things should go, and that's it. And if I'm wrong, I'm still not wrong.
Right.
Because how are you going to prove that? Right. The Bills have this thing, and fans have kind of bought into this. Tell me if you've heard this before. If you listen to the fans, you'll eventually be sitting there with them.
That's like something that Mr. Bean said.
Yeah. And I've seen this said multiple times to me when I'm on other people's shows, to, people put that in the chat, when we were first starting off and we were talking about the team, and they use this line to justify, just leave my GM alone. He shouldn't listen to you. You're just a fan. Okay. Name one time that a GM listened to a fan and then got fired and was out on the street for listening to a fan. Where's the documented evidence that a GM has got up in front of a microphone and said, you know what? We decided to listen to Keyshawn and Aramis, and we drafted this corner, and it didn't turn out, and I lost my job because of it. So thank you very much, Keyshawn and Aramis, for getting me fired, and now I'm out on the street. Name one time that's happened, bro. Like, in all seriousness, like, how far do we, for all those people that think we're taking it too far, like, how far do you have to go to back up this mentality of, if you listen to the fans, you'll eventually be sitting with them? We have no proof that that's ever been a bad thing. I mean, if anything, the people who are doing fantasy drafts and draft after draft after draft after draft over and over again, mock draft over and over again, like content creators in general, we do just as much work scouting these players as the scouts do. Heck, One Bills Live contacts freaking Greg Cosell on a regular basis. All he does is scout players.
Did you see somebody called in to Tim Graham and Brad Ryder? He's like, I don't know why you guys are talking about McShay and Kuiper and all of them. They don't have a team. Why are we listening to them? Brandon Bean has a team that does this, that, and so, like, so McShay's been doing this longer than Brandon Bean's been alive damn near.
Right.
And he's relatively knowledgeable because they watch a hell of a lot of football. Greg Cosell watches a hell of but see, that's the mentality that we try to get away from on this show. That's why we empower you guys. And nothing is said. We might harp on somebody because they keep saying stuff, but we take it to heart. We hear you because that's what the show is built on.
Yep.
This show is built for you to talk. We said that when we first started the show, for you guys that are not listened to by the masses that want to be team speak. And if you have the team speak, fine. But see, guess what? You're different because you're watching this show. If you weren't watching this show, that means you subscribe to great Joe Marino. You subscribe to Buffalo Plus, and I do too. But the thing is, I take it with a grain of salt. What are they saying? That's what I listen to. What are they saying? What is Postpodiumpodcast saying? This is not gospel.
Yep.
We're just two dads that come here on Monday and Friday nights and talk to you. So you're not going to like everything you say. We're not going to be perfect in everything we do because we don't have time to memorize all the stuff. That's why I read a lot of stuff, not because I'm reading somebody else's writing, but because I can't memorize what I have to say. After I put it down, it takes me 3-4 days. T's like, you on your phone again? What are you doing now? You doing more notes? Ken's like, who is Caleb Elam Orms? Caleb Elam Orr. I'm like, he's like, why are you writing about him on now? Because this is what I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, I got to work 2 jobs, take care of my kid, take care of my house, take care of my car, tell my mom or talk to my mom, whatever the case may be, and still come here and do the show.
Yep.
Not because I have to. We don't get paid enough to just sit here and be like, oh, screw those jobs, screw all that stuff. We're here. This last year, those who know. I went through a lot last week, not family-wise, but a lot of stuff that I shouldn't probably even been doing this show, but I said, let me do it for you guys because you look forward to it. Mm. And I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't going to do everything I could for you guys. So, when I say something, when you say that, we know everybody's not going to agree, and that's fine. But what I want to know is literally what you think of it. Not because Beane said so, not because we're only dads and we don't have any credentials, but why do you think so? So people say, you guys don't know this or we don't know what's going to, I'm tired of saying we don't know what's going to shake up, because guess what? If you got Max Crosby, you think we have this conversation about who's playing defensive end? You think we got Myles Garrett, we have this conversation, well, we got to see. No, because we would know. We would know.
Yep.
And it has nothing to do with the scheme or how they fit. They make the scheme.
That's right.
And the forever from here on out, as long as Beane is here, as long as Joe Brady's here, as long as Fox and Carmichael are here, you have to find players that make the scheme, not fit the scheme perfectly. I want a guy that, like when I sat here and I said Myles Garrett, I said, trust me, if Myles Garrett's in Buffalo, we would not be running a 3-4. If Max Crosby was in Buffalo, we would not be running a heavy 3-4.
Exactly, bro.
And that's what I'm looking for. I know Myles Garrett was the number 1 overall draft pick, but what pick was Max Crosby? What pick was, what the hell? What pick was Tom Brady, who revolutionized football when he played? You don't have to be in the top 15. That's why I'm like, you don't have to keep saying we draft late. That's not an excuse. It just makes it harder to get players.
That's it.
And what if Josh Allen would have had BTJ instead of Keon Coleman? What would have happened? Because it could have happened. BTJ went what, 20, 21, 19 in that range. We went 20. We were at what, 20, 28, 29.
I think we were 29 or
like 29.
29.
Move up 9 slots. Guess what? I'll mortgage my first and a 4th and 5th or 3rd and 4th for that move because I believe that damn much.
Yeah,
and it doesn't have to be him. It could be anybody. But the thing is, when you're sitting here and you're sitting on your hands, but I want to trade and do this and do that and do this and do that. I'm like, come on. The bodega's in there. I ain't see it. You got a call.
Yep. I want real quick. Sam says you don't need starters when you already have them. This is a playoff team. Is it a championship level team though? Sean McDermott didn't agree. Let's get Bodega Cat on the phone. What's going on, bro? You got a couple minutes here before we got a jet. What's going on?
Yeah, good evening, fellas.
What up?
Appreciate the coverage, man, especially over the weekend. Got me through my shift, so I really appreciate that.
Appreciate you, man.
I'm just going to be quick. I gave the draft a B+. I know that's a high grade. I know it's, obvious, the first pick wasn't ideal, and and the fan base did want Caden McDonald, and trading with the Texans and then picking Caden McDonald right after that, it was kind of like a slap in the face. So I understand it. Now, after evaluating the players, after watching film, all 22, after hearing interviews, different analysis from local reporters, I gave them a B-. I also take into account the trade for DJ Moore into the draft. Just being straightforward. He's going to add value, and us picking just one wide receiver, I think, justified that. I think Skylar Bell could complement DJ Moore. He could complement Khalil Shakir, and he's the only reason why Skylar Bell dropped in the draft is really obvious. He's 24 years old. He's only going to be eligible for one big contract. He was projected to go in the second round. People were surprised. Steve Smith had him slated as his favorite. He didn't say he was the best wide receiver, but he did say that he was his favorite wide receiver in the draft. So like a lot of things came to account when it comes to Skylar Bell, and number one overall was his age. So I think when it comes to Brandon Beane, he's not a gambler. He's not a gambling man. You seen Howie Roseman trade next year's 3rd round draft pick for a player. Like that's being a true poker guy, like a true gambler. He doesn't know what he's going to get from this guy right now. But he definitely doesn't know next year's 3rd round draft pick. So why keep it? Why not go get somebody who is at least proven? So it's like,
to be fair, really quick. To be fair, though, I get where you're going from. Like, I would agree with you on the not a gambler standpoint from the perspective of the types of players that Beane picks, because he typically picks high floor, low ceiling guys. that in essence is the, I'm not going to gamble. I'm going to try to get the safest guys that I can possibly get. On top of that, these guys come in as culture fits, which lowers the risk of them not working out with the team, which lowers the risk of them having to be cut. But Brandon Beane has traded a future first rounder for Stephon Diggs. Brandon Beane has traded up 15 spots for TJ Sanders. Brandon Beane has done some aggressive things that could be taken as, gambles for players that you may not necessarily have needed to do. I mean, Igbenogson this year, everybody was scratching their heads when you trade up, what was it, 5 spots for a corner that, really nobody was thinking about in the second round at all.
I agree with, he's been aggressive at points, but he folds. He folds. Like, at the end of the day, that Stephon Diggs pick, I said it at the beginning. Why are we trading for Justin Jefferson? Why not give Josh Allen a young, big target? But because of draft coverage, he's a number 2 behind Chase, and I guess his physical trace wasn't. I was like, man, I don't care about none of that. But like you said, he traded for Stephon Diggs, so we picture that as being aggressive when it was like, bro, Mr. Bean, sometimes it's right there in your face and you just back out of it and you panic. So that's just my take on him. It's just he doesn't have the balls. Like I always say, Bean doesn't have the beans. He doesn't have it. And it shows up early. Now late, I give this man, I have to give him credit, man. When he gets to the 3rd and the 4th round, he puts on a hat that probably you could say he's the best GM in the league. His late draft picks are just wonderful. Khalil Shakir. What was the guy that he got last year? Hancock. But these guys are proven in college. They come in the league, they make plays, but for some reason it doesn't show up every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. And that's where I put on the coaching. That's why I believe now we have the proper coaching. Jim Leonard, people are on his back right now because he doesn't talk. But that's literally who he is. That's who he was as a player. That's how he is as a coach. He does not talk. He's not a talk. He's all about action. And this defense, I like to say this is the Rex Ryan defense. He's going to bring the Rex that philosophy and that mentality, not per se just the scheme itself, but that philosophy and that mentality. He said it. I don't like to counterpunch. I just like to attack. So I think the coaching is what's going to change this team. I don't really place a lot of this stuff on. I think after the draft coverage, after June 1st, we could just forget about Beane and just place everything on the development of these players and the coaching. I think we have the proper coaches in the building to really get these players up to speed, unlike the previous seasons.
All right, thank you for that, Bodega Cat. We'll react to that right now, and we'll let you go. Thank you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was saying I can go with everything you said. With regards to the players. The players are who they are now. You're gonna get maybe another 1 or 2 people that you even know their names or you even care about. You could look at their undrafted free agencies and you're like, oh, well, we got that running back. I mean, that running back they picked up, he's 5'6", 175 pounds, but he's freaking lightning fast. And I mean,
right,
he's freaking impressive. Freaking in the ACC too, impressive. But I mean, are we really worried about Ty Johnson? Are we worried about Ray Davis? I mean, is this Frank Gore's competition? Because they're not the same players. This goes along the same thing, like I said, with about Igbenogson and Max Harrison and Benford. They're not the same player. So the competition isn't even really a thing. It's a figment of our imagination because we made it so. If you ask somebody what's it between a boundary corner and a field corner, most people wouldn't be able to tell you.
True.
But they'll tell you, oh, it's competition. Max Harrison's in trouble. No, he's not, because like I told Dorothy in the Discord, I wasn't even saying that Bernard is bad or that he's in jeopardy. I'm just saying that the guy they brought in can only play Bernard's role, which at this point in time is proven in college, high school. You can ask, if you don't believe me, ask, look at the scouting reports, look at the talking heads that know what they're talking about, because I'm clearly not one. And they'll tell you the same thing. He's limited. He's a press corner. He's not very good in zone. He's physical enough, but he's handsy. He got better. He's coachable. But coachable, when you trade up into the second round again, that's not my idea of a winning strategy.
Yeah. Really quick.
This can't be right.
I know. I'm in shock myself too.
Yeah, I need to know. If that's
Crane Boy. Holy cow! I have no words. It says Crane Boy 1 is a Raiders fan and broke, so no need to ask again. Don't you doubt your boy Crane Boy 2.
Yeah, Crane Boy 2, Crane Boy 1. If you missed a decimal somewhere, let us know, please.
Yo,
I mean, I don't want to. Yeah. Thank you if it's right, but I don't. Let us know, please.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Because if you broke in that,
yeah. If you meant it, thank you. If not, please let us know where to send it back.
Yes. I'll never be that guy. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we do have to get out of here though.
Yeah.
One quick comment here by Steve says, I give the draft what I give the roster, C+/B. Maybe B-. I don't know. Equals. Same goes for the GM and coach, and that's good enough with Josh Allen to get eliminated right at the divisional. Good until you get exposed by great. Look, I'm with some of the folks in the chat here who who are saying just let fans fan the way they want to fan. Look, I get it. I think that's what you and I get on the show and do every day. I mean. There are certain things we're not happy with, but I think at the end of the day, once they put the ball down and start playing games,
you didn't do that. You did not do that. Hey, yo, pause. That's a pause moment.
How is that a pause moment?
We don't do that here.
I said put the ball down and start playing football.
I'm not talking about any kind of sexual content. I'm talking, you just can't use the Joe Brady phrase in this show. Pause. What the hell's going on? That's egregious. I had to. The 64. Thank you for staying with us. So I had to.
Yeah. But yeah. So okay. I mean, I just look. We want the team to win, and when the clock starts down from 15 minutes in the first quarter, we're all on the same side. We all want to see a dub at the end of the game, and we want to see that every single week. And L is just not good for any of us at all, ever. But in the meantime, there are certain things that we would like to bring out, for conversation's sake, and to analyze and to wonder why these things happen. And until we get some answers, there's always going to be a conversation. But I think as long as we can agree at the end of the day, we all want the Bills to win a Super Bowl. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And Crane Boy said he meant it. So, okay. All right. Well, I really do appreciate that then.
Thank you, man.
And I did, Charles, I hope you're still here because I did find the question. He said, do you guys think the defense with Jim Leonard will be better this year? Yes. Yes, I do. And so after all this stuff, I said, oh, you guys think that? No. Never said that. But what I was saying over and over and over and over again was adding a complementary piece. Adding that piece that we didn't have as opposed to adding more of what we already had. Were they good enough? They were good enough to be good enough. They just need to be put in different places. That's why I pushed back on this Terrell Bernard hate, the Dorian Williams hate, the Max Harrison hate, the Christian Ben. I've pushed back on all the hate. Ed Oliver, everything you could think of as defense. And you can attest to it. I push back on all of the hate, saying this guy doesn't fit that guy. So when I sit on this show and I sit here and tell you, they could have did better here, it's not because they suck. It's because I have a vision of a Nick Benito, of a Jonathan Cooper, of something that they had in this last iteration. A Leo Chenal that they had at Wisconsin, things like that. Mm-hmm. Nick Herbig, that we don't necessarily have here. Right. And I'm like, to make this guy's defense the best it could be, do that. And spend. Listening to the fans, we would have Josh Rosen. So, but see, this is the kick. But see, this is the kick. What was Josh Allen coming out of Wyoming? A project. What if he would have fell into the wrong hands? We've talked about this already. Mm-hmm. What if he fell into Doug Marrone? What if he fell into somebody that doesn't know how to work with him? What if he fell into somebody that didn't have connections?
I mean, EJ Manuel fell into Doug Marrone's hands. Could we say that if he had Brian Daboll as his coach, he might be a little bit better than he was?
I would definitely say that. Hell, even a coach like McDermott who didn't really want to be risky, but lets you play through the risk.
So is it really about listening to the fans, or is it more about having the right coaches in place?
It's about the right situation.
Better decisions
about
on better people in better positions.
Yep, right situation. And that's exactly where I'm going with it.
Really quick, the season schedule, I think you mean the schedule. The schedule release is projected to be between May 14th. May 12th and May 14th and May 16th. I think it is. Somewhere in there.
Yeah, May 14th. Why do you know this?
I just looked it up.
Even still, I don't even, but I mean, when the season's released, why do you care? Why do you care? You need to go ahead and get you some Reed's tea. That's what you need to worry about.
That is exactly what you need to worry about.
When do you release yourself from this podcast? As you've already watched in its entirety, head to the store before it closes because you need refreshing, delicious, healthy beverages. Not what I had on Friday. By the way, that case was obliterated that night. I ran through that whole thing about that. I got a 30-pack. I almost finished yesterday. But I'm on vacation, so it doesn't matter. And it was funny because Nate was like, hey, that's not a White Claw. I said I drink those. I'm trying to be responsible.
He still had to drive home.
Right. So, in other words, get yourself some Reed's tea. Treat yourself. Don't get yourself the bottle. We're way past that. Way past that. Don't ask us where it is because we've told you. And it's in some stores too. Mm-hmm. Look around. Get some greens, beans, potatoes. No, never mind. But make sure you get some Reed's tea. Get yourself an individual for the car ride home and get yourself a case for when you get to your destination. Don't share with anybody. Matter of fact, share. Get yourself a second case. You won't be disappointed. Neither will they. Postpodiumpodcast is telling you, Reed's tea. We back it, we drink it, we enjoy it, and so will you. Click this link in the description below and let them know that we sent you there.
All right, let's get that music going, folks. We are jumping out the window. Here we go. All right, if you're hearing that music, that means it's time for us to jump out the window. Like I said a couple seconds ago, if you have not done so already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. The like button for us is a little bit more important, right? Because on lives, the likes are what tell the algorithm to push us a little bit more. So we've been averaging around 40. If we can try and get that up to 50, that would be a huge help. Not sure how many we have now.
Today's show probably like 6, 7.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So come back Friday. We'll do it again. We'll try it again.
Maybe Friday will be a better show. Maybe. But with that being said, listen. Thank you to everybody that stuck with us. You are the reason we do this show. We don't really care about being the biggest, following or any of that kind of stuff. Like, do we want to be, reaching more people? Sure. But this is just fine for us right here in this pocket, this family that we're building here. And we thank you for being a part of that. And for those of you that joined us for the first time, welcome.
Yes.
If you want to be part of the family, the door is open. The only kicker to that is if you get in the chat and you say something to us, you're stuck in the family. There is no getting out after that, right? We haven't really told people about that for a long time. We've just been trapping y'all on a regular basis. So, right. So thank you for that. Other than that, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Hey, man, I ain't got nothing else. I'll see you guys on Friday.
All right. Friday, we'll be back with you live, 5:30 to 7:30. Make sure you tune in for that. I feel like I'm missing something that I need to be announcing right now. Oh, right behind me. Official sponsor of the show now, HighMikeHighTech.com is where you need to go if you're looking for any kind of technical service, whether it's having a PC built for you, having a PC repaired, laptops, PlayStation and Xbox controllers, and whatever technical needs you have. Call this guy before you call Geek Squad. I'm telling you, you will not be sorry that you made the call to High Mike High Tech before you call Geek Squad. Geek Squad is going to give you the runaround. They're going to send somebody out that kind of knows what they're doing, can kind of give you an expert thought processes, but they're going to be pushing a whole lot of stuff that Best Buy and all these other companies want to give to you for a much higher price. You want to go and stick with somebody local, stick with somebody who knows exactly what they're talking about, and stick with somebody who built the very computer that we are streaming this show to you on. You got to go to High Mike High Tech at HighMikeHighTech.com. Let them know that PPP sent you, and you just looking to see if you can get a PC built or see if you can get, whatever, Ring doorbell installed, anything you can think of, like whatever your technical needs are. High Mike High Tech is where you need to go for that at HighMikeHighTech.com.
And before you go, explain the thumbnail. Next episode, please, 7 versus 9. What was the thumbnail with the Spider-Man?
Oh, so the idea of the thumbnail was that TJ Parker is a duplicate of Bradley Chubb, so it's kind of playing off of the Spider-Man thing. Yeah, that's all that really was. It's just me trying to say, hey, a lot of the players that we got this season are a lot like some of the players that we already have on the roster.
You look mad familiar.
Right. So Yeah, that's all it was. But all right, y'all have a great night. We are out of here. This has been the Postpodium Podcast. Only y'all truth, no sodium takes. I've been your co-host, Aramis.
Oh, 40 keys. No, I'm joking.
All right, y'all have a great night.
See y'all later.